the international and local regional business updates here on Smart 24 TV and Smart 24 TV. That's a smart24tv.com. That's the official website, smart24.tv, where you can go and search out all the business related facts, the latest business news, the latest business updates. Definitely all right there for you. And plot 42 Nile Avenue, that's the official home of Smart 24 TV. That's where I'm coming live for you. And you can actually pay us a visit, see how we can partner together, see how we can help each other grow the businesses, each other's business in that line. But of course, we believe every morning as a young and a vibrant business entrepreneur, it's quite key and important that you actually get motivated. When you're motivated, we are motivated too, because we believe once you have the right pattern of how business ought to be done and your mindset is actually set right, I can guarantee you the success is quite inevitable. And we are not talking about people that have businesses that are going to end with them here when we come to this inspiration moment. We are exactly looking at generational businesses that will stand the test of time. Well, let's get into this moment. Well, somebody right there tells you that incorporate rewards for every milestone that you achieve. That is achieve. In Luganda, what they call it when you get something. It's worth celebrating if you hit a milestone. In that line.
True. And of course, every day we, I like this generation we are in. It's more fun, they make serious things more fun,
More fun.
You look at something and you're like, wow, even when you didn't intend to, laugh about something, So you remember how they say the early bird gets the worm? Mm-hmm. They say there's never the worm.
The worm doesn't exist.
The worm doesn't exist.
Where is it?
It was taken.
To where? By who? Who took the worm?
We don't know. We actually do not know whoever took the worm.
Those with connections slept with it. It's quite very interesting, by the way, when you take a look at the trajectory with how the world really operates. And so many times when we are being taught how to, when people are taught from school in terms of how, we are only prepared for a theoretical world, but not exactly what happens. Because once you incorporate what the actual world is, it might sound like you are contradicting the system. For the children, most especially those at a tender age, they're saying, oh, well, this is like this. Because if somebody can't come out and tell you the truth, that the education you're studying is not taking you anywhere, what are you telling that to a child? It sounds wrong, right? Yeah. But not until they go to experience the actual world, and you'll be shocked that the people that are actually employing them P7 dropout, senior 3, 4.
Oh yeah.
Basic
The big
life was.
backbenchers
Yeah.
that used to make noise in class.
Exactly.
Yes, actually, that's why I usually say
Yeah.
we should stop this whole notion of we're in class and segregate money. Class A is for brilliant kids.
The
or
brilliant
these
kids.
ones are intermediate and the medium. These ones are. I didn't like that whole system actually growing up. It made you think like you're dumb.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, fine. It helps you improve, but kati nzabera mu class, I'd be like, it's okay. There are times kids used to be like, Zenafuka musuri, it's okay.
and now you see that's the bad thing. That's the disadvantage with
It's
such a system.
demoralizing.
It's demoralizing in terms of the capability of what these kids can do. And I'm going to tell people of a story about, can I say, a certain gentleman who was in a garage, and he was running, he had this software business way back in 1983, and somebody. And this person actually only needed about an investment, I think, of about, can I say, $50,000 to $100,000 to make his, company really blossom. But then he's looking for a potential person, a funder, to come and fund this. But this person comes and demoralizes this person and tells him, if I give you 100,000 right now, what is it going to? How sure am I that I'm actually going to get the returns from 100,000? And this kid felt demoralized. But it so happens the kid today is Bill Gates. So, I mean, it's more of that thing of saying that, but I'm grateful because he didn't take the demoralization in because he had to move on. But it's quite challenging here at a tender age when a child is demoralized to that extent that you're not supposed to sit with these people. It's quite very hard to overcome that. And that's why lots of career talks are really encouraged at this era. And I mean, there are quite lots of things are happening. The exposure these kids are actually having, it makes them really, whereby it's never about academics anymore. Actually, like somebody was saying that lately it's hard to interpret what even the report cards really present about the kid. I've seen part of them and I'm like, now what? Because for us, what we do, you had 80, you have the D1, 85, 95, and it was quite clear. But now it's way beyond about having good marks, but they also assess to what degree and extent do you look at challenges and how do you approach those challenges in terms of providing a solution. Because that's where the business mind is that how are you able to predict, how are you able to see, how are you able to detect a challenge and come up with an absolute solution. And I think that's a great opportunity and it's a great idea. If this Gen Z generation really embraces it, I think we shall have one of the best generations to exist because these are people that have been exposed to this information at an earlier age. Probably if some of us got information earlier, probably would be doing mighty exploits. Of course, we're already doing them, but it would be more better than that. Yeah. So it's an opportunity. How are they using what is surrounding them? Because it's closer. As compared to the age they are at, vis-a-vis to the degree it was closer to us at the time we were their age.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about that, and of course it's going to be ushering us into our conversation.
Yeah, very
and
true.
of course, like you said, but you realize this is a group between 18 and probably 25, 20, 24,
25, 24, yeah.
The lifestyle is quite different. It's just that maybe they have not gotten time to learn from maybe their elders, maybe their brothers or siblings that are quite maybe older. Because now the lifestyle actually that this generation is in, it's a lifestyle of who has more money, who dresses the best,
who has the best,
who has the nice wig. I don't know, it's 1 million plus. So the kind of lifestyle that we're living in, it has gotten us into extra expenses. You get it?
You're very right on that. Yeah, true.
Expenses, and in short, in the long run, we are living in deficit.
Deficits, dates, you're borrowing money to keep up a standard.
Yes, to keep up a standard. You're buying a car, yet you really know, man, you can't even raise rent.
Somebody was mentioning something. I saw a clip on Facebook. I don't know whether people have seen it. And this gentleman, he was once a teacher. He's a teacher, actually. And he was showing people, if you're not yet really ready, don't buy a car. And he calculated the expenses. And he said, on average, you could realize that every person that you see driving a car on the road, they're spending about 1 million already on that car.
In service.
Minus maintenance. In case it has broken down, all this minus all that, 1 million. So that means if you're earning a salary between 700,000, 800,000, you don't. But people at 300,000 are driving cars. People spend more than they earn. So it's back to that. It's a deficit.
Yeah. So that is where the challenge is, you know. Because now, if you compare then the baby boomers who are mothers and fathers, you know, they really knew what they wanted. It wasn't about competition then.
Competition, yeah.
It's about it was about family. What can I do for my family? You know, they were planning for the future, but for us now, we are planning for now. For now, there is no future. There is nothing like future. Because
the future
will seek it. We shall get solution for tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
Look at the lifestyle. Yeah, the lifestyle we're in. Tugena mubala, we party. You see that whole thing of we party. Govero Saviliza, where do you get money to party in the night? Zivao.
It brings me back to, once you borrow this money, what are the priorities you can and spend on? I mean, when you borrow, what is the first priority? What are we? You see, in under normal ethics, we are told to borrow to invest.
Yeah.
Don't borrow to spend on what? Luxury. Because you're increasing on the deficit burden. Before you know it, you'll be heavily indebted. And you will, that's why 30%, I now feel like 40% of Ugandans have mental illness. The latest report will clearly put that. That was last year.
Yeah.
30. But now it must be like 40. And it's all because of this we are talking about. The financial difficulties, depression.
And even regardless of how many jobs you work, trust me, there will always be that. Because now imagine, people actually, if you've had testimonies, people do spend a lot on transport. Because they're trying to cut costs on rent. People stay in high-end places. Then Mugongo, Mukono. Someone comes every day from Mukono to Kampala.
Why? Because Mukono has cheap accommodation?
Probably. In those places
from town.
They usually have affordable places. Someone comes from Bulenga. That's quite costly. That's quite costly. And you know, that is for the working class. You've gotten a taxi, probably taxis could be cheaper.
Like about 2,000 to reach down.
You grab a border, whether it's 20K, you just grab a border if you're late. You're not provided, there's no provision for lunch. At your workplace or breakfast, you have to buy breakfast, you have to buy lunch, you have to go back home and prepare supper. You know, do you know how much people spend on a daily?
How much? It's a lot of money, actually.
It's a lot of money. Because now you want a standard, you want to go to Cafe Javas. I have lunch. I can't fit your budget.
So you end up getting loans, you borrow you from money lenders, even your case. And most especially, and what makes it worse is when you have this capability of, you know, family, borrowing from family, friends. And before you know it, if you become a social burden, because if somebody can really tell you this, and whenever somebody sees your call, they know this guy wants money. I mean, you're already building a social, you're destroying your social reputation as a result of that. And that means if one day you're serious, actually, and you need money for something actually very serious, nobody's actually going, because every person is going to wonder, for all these years you've been getting all this money, what is that you've been actually doing this money? I mean, people are expectant to see, you know, when you want 50K from somebody or 100K, you have to justify the reason why you really need this money. And in most cases, the justifications are put to convince them emotionally to give you that money. Really portray that you're a serious person.
You know, actually, the individuals are also, you know, the way Uganda is the way the individuals are. Because you find we are borrowing to pay alone. That's what Uganda does.
It's what Ugandans are. That's why somebody says, in everything, in terms of leadership, we have the leaders that we deserve as a country. Because if you go down to the root person, to the down, because if you weigh your life as a viewer, right, if you're watching, weigh down your life, your expenditure habits, you find that it's actually not any much more different from what your leaders do out there from various, I don't want to mention agencies or constituencies, what they do in that line and that perspective. But that is not right. Because first of all, if the country at a national level is doing the same, it's coming back to you, the individual, in terms of pricing. Now we see taxes, coming taxes. And on top of that, that means if you've been borrowing last time, if your borrowing rate has been at 5%, now taxes have increased. That means your standards of living are also going to increase. That means you're going to borrow more money from the people and you're going to keep yourself indebted. And once you're keeping yourself indebted, that means whatever money you'll ever get, you can reach a point in life and all the money you ever have and all the money you'll ever expect to get in the future is to clear the past dates. Tell me, when are you going to really now invest to create jobs, to create employment? I think it explains why the rate at which job creation and why we want government, we are counting on government to create jobs for the people. Yet government is not sustainable in that line. The role of government is to create a favorable environment. But, okay, if the government created the favorable environment, who will come out and say, I have some money, let me invest?
Now, of course, a survey which was funded by Bank of Uganda indicated that at least 17.2 million Ugandans out of 24.6 adult population rely on family, friends, personal savings, borrowing as a coping mechanism to manage their shortages.
To manage shortages.
17.2 million.
Ugandans. I mean, that's a huge number because that's roughly the working population, considering the others which are below 18 that are not working. But 17 million is quite a commendable number, and it's a shaming. But why? Sometimes you need to ask yourself, why is this happening? Really? Because when you take a look at, first of all, the fertility rate is actually increasing. What we call unplanned births, and that means that is unplanned expenditures. You have to take care of this. And I mean, you find that you're living the rest of your life to survive for today. It clearly portrays why the COVID, because somebody will ask you, if the money you have cannot take you about, a month is maybe to less, a year. If you sit down and you're not working for a year, and you can actually survive on the money you've saved, then you're working.
Yeah, then you've been working. Because even in COVID-19, people were wanting to get their money from ministers. They have what? It's too much. So
exactly.
That also brings me to this question of now that we have 7.2 million Ugandans, that is also in the working space. What about those that are unemployed? I mean, what is their situation really? Because now,
that is big. If you're working yourself,
too much. No, but you see the advantage we have. That is why most people will tell you, what, I prefer going up country.
To stay up country.
Yeah, to stay up country because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. Here in the capital city of Uganda, Kampala, this is where everything is a mess. You get because the cost of living in Kampala is so high.
So the mess is around the central.
Yes. Central.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when you go to country, it's quite cheaper. A house that goes here that goes for 300,000, there it's like 200.
Less than that, actually. Half of 300, about 150,000.
Fully furnished, good environment. Somebody's like, what?
But the funny thing is that people have not yet come to that realization early enough.
They have not, because actually they have not. But there are a few that have really understood. Because I had a friend and they were like, what? If I got a job up country, I'd go because this is too much. Yeah, you are renting. Rent needs in because now we are on the 22nd. Apparently, people's salary are done.
They don't.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
That's the truth.
People do not have money, so they're waiting for
salaries.
By the time salary is coming out to cover for your dates.
So you're paying dates. You literally, and I feel like 80% of Ugandans spend about 65% of their salaries to clear dates. and they have only 40% for themselves to survive, for the rest. But you see, when you talk about shifting, the only challenge we have is that we don't have quite many companies that have probably regional offices where they can locate some workers out there. Of course, majority prefer to the center. But just like COVID-19 led to some of the closure of some of the big shops that we had, ShopRite being one of the, them I'll just mention. But why? Why did this happen? It's because COVID-19 led to establishment of shops in the suburbs, away from the city where everyone was running, which rent is actually becoming expensive. It's becoming impossible to actually do business in the central business district. Now, people decided to locate kiosks in the suburbs. Yeah. And people, people now, because lots of settlements have actually been established in those areas, people are just not aware that there are towns hidden. And you will be shocked. So that's where the money is. So I think if people come to this awakening, realizing that actually upcountry life can actually exist upcountry. Okay, perhaps why they settle in here is because that's why you find suppliers that will put your commodity onto the map, the mainstream market. So people are, because when you're looking for really actually a mainstream market for your product, you can't escape the central business district. So that could be the ideology. But I think this also calls for more innovation, thinking of what is that thing that probably I can provide to somebody in the rural area and it's affordable at their rate. I know of somebody that makes soap in a certain district and is actually supplying literally half of that district, and he has made millions of money. His net worth they can generate at least about $2.5 billion annually. So why? Because they went to a local society. They realized that what's the challenge of these people? Okay, they invested resources in providing solutions, affordable solutions, because he was looking for where somebody can afford to buy a bowl of soap at least, a piece of soap at 500. Someone may not be able to spend 5,000 on a full bar, and all that. So they made money just that way, and it's working out for them. So be innovative in that way. I know you need mainstream market, but it's competitive and quite tight. You might end yourself up borrowing a lot of money, surviving more into living a life of debt. Well, let's take a break for now. Of course, business and entertainment and the sports coming up shortly.
Smart 24, driving business.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel, so visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Rachel, Rich. The Queen Cobra, the password of the money, the original no spare parts, the 11th commandment, the question and the answer.
Sis, I know you want money, but I'm also broke.
Ah, no. Money is not an object. These days, Momo sorts me out anytime. In fact, my sister, let me also sort you out.
Really?
I've just sent you instructions on how to get a loan on Momo. I'm here for you. Can I borrow some chips?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. We're Sotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda.